You're watching college gymnastics in the Mid-American Conference on ESPN. The Ball State Cardinals playing host to the North Carolina Tar Heels here on a Sunday afternoon, senior day in Muncie, Indiana. Ball State is a week removed from a school record for just the second time this season. No big deal. A 1-9-5-8 on the road last week at Northern Illinois, and the Cardinals eked out the head-to-head victory as well. So performing in the clutch, a 1/2-10th win over NIU just a little bit more than a week ago. That puts Ball State to 10-4 on the season in its head-to-head record, the second consecutive year Ball State has had a better than 500 head-to-head record. We welcome you high atop the floor here at Worthen Arena. My partner is the MAC champion on the floor, Denasia Christian. Joel Godet, so glad to have you along with us. And Denasia, it's now 2 out of the last 3 weeks that Ball State has put forward a school record. What's clicked at the right time?
I think definitely their mentality, their ability to handle pressure, whether it's injuries, falls, things that they're not wanting to happen, they turn it around into a win.
North Carolina, though, also clicking at the right time. The Tar Heels come in with 3 consecutive 1-9-6s and just outside the NCAA regional picture right now. Another 1-9-6 today would vault UNC into NCAA regional position, and a lot of that falls on the shoulders of the senior Kaja Hislop.
Kaja is a powerhouse for the UNC team. She currently has the highest Yurchenko full vault rated in the country. She also is a 3-time All-American as well.
3-time All-American, twice on floor, once on vault. Could Claudia Goyko become an All-American for Ball State on floor by the time it's all said and done here in Muncie? She's had a 9-9 or better 4 times. What's the next step?
At this point, she's just fighting against herself, going to make sure she's taking every little tenth that she can with pointed toes, straight legs, cleaner landings to get those extra points to get past that 9-9 to a 9-9-2-5, 9-9-5, or higher.
9-9-2-5 was a season high for Goyko last week. 9-9-5 is the school record. One of the two of us has that to our name. It's Ball State in North Carolina, senior day in Muncie. It'll be bars and vaults when we return. North Carolina and Ball State head-to-head here in Muncie, Indiana. It is senior day for the Ball State Cardinals. UNC is on the road trying to make it 4 consecutive 1-9-6s. It's bar lineup. Michaela Williams, the senior, to lead it off. Sophie Silverstein, a couple of freshmen, Elizabeth Colton, all around today, will be in the anchor spots, 5 and 6. Ball State will start off in Olympic order on vault. Arden Hudson is in the leadoff spot, one of 2 10-0 start values. Marissa Nychek, the sophomore all-around performer, she also has a 10-0 start value. A lot of twisting, a handspring double twist for Arden Hudson, plays with her height here.
Very nice lines and the ability to spot her landing, to finish it without moving her feet. It's a good vault.
It's a unique vault. It's not something a lot of people do, and that can make it hard to judge, can't it?
I think it would just depend. I think she does a really good job, so being as clean and as tight as she is, I don't think it's very hard to judge by watching it.
9.85 is the high for Arden Hudson. As we get a look at Michaela Williams, she is a bars specialist.
Looks like she missed her hand just a little bit, but able to keep that routine going. That was very impressive, to not lose any momentum with a complete slip of her right hand.
Looking for more height on that dismount and able to recover into that double layout.
Looked like she struggled just a little bit to get it around, but to keep a routine like that going and not letting that slip up get to you mentally is impressive on her part.
The mindset when you break like that, that split second has to feel like an eternity.
And that split second is the only split second you have to decide whether this is going to break your routine or make your routine.
Olivia Ostendorf has competed all around, 2 events today.
Small hop on the landing, but she was able to get her chest up and finish it off strong.
Just been consistent, what head coach Joanna Salim has said. They know they can put her out there and get that 9-7, 9-7, 7-5. And at the top of your order, that's what you want.
Definitely. You create your lineup based upon building up to that top score. But obviously, each score is going to be something that you want to count and not have to drop. But a job well done.
Well, you said it's pretty easy to judge Arden Hudson vaults. 9-8 to start things off for Arden Hudson. It'll be Emery Summy, second up on bars. North Carolina native out of Jamestown, 9.75 is her high this season.
She's starting in between the bars here, but she does a really good job of getting to that cast a handstand with just a small glide swing.
Really
a lot of
big
height
one
on that release. That was very pretty. Legs tight to her bail to a perfect handstand. This is a very good routine so far, just with her ability to keep moving, stay tight, and hit all of her marks.
Full twisting giant here into the double tuck, and a stick on the dismount.
I want to know whether or not they'll count that as a stick. Little step back as she was saluting. That's going to be up to the judges. But everything that she did in that routine was almost on mark, especially with those beautiful handstands.
Yeah, just at the end.
A little bit of tiptoeing.
Trying to hold the heels. Here's Sandra El-Sadek, the sophomore.
That was incredibly powerful vault. The way that she got that full turnaround to get to that landing was impressive.
And she slid clear across the table last week at Northern Illinois, so a good confidence boost and a mental hurdle to get back up there, get that power and height.
And you can see how she's blocking off the table and just whipping those arms around to make sure that she finishes that full before her land.
Ball State twice this year has put up a school record on vault, 4.9125. As we go back to the bars, and Hannah Nam. 3 events for Hannah Nam today. We'll see her on bars, beam, and floor. Trip back home. She's from the Cincinnati area in Ohio. So presumably the smattering of Carolina blue we have in the Red Worthen Arena seats today. A little bit of a Hannah Nam fan section. Only cracked the bar lineup about a month ago, February 7th. Looking for some consistency out of her. Derek Alvin, North Carolina's head coach, told us they've got about 8 people they can put in lineup.
Wow.
So to be in that 6 top spots, you've got to earn it.
That's a good position to be in. Release move. I want to say every girl has a lot of height on their release moves. You can tell that that's something that they really train technique-wise. A little short on the handstand there, but a lot of power going into this dismount. Double tuck with a little hop because her knees were bent as she was coming into the ground, but a good finish overall.
Get the bars update of Summy once we come out of the replay.
So as you can see, she was a little lopsided coming out of that turn, and that might lead to why she had a little bit of trouble landing that double back.
Tucked full and a half for Marissa Nychek with just a little step, but well executed for the super sophomore.
I think she's another one of Ball State's vaulters who is just solid, very consistent. Every time she goes, you know that it's going to be a good score.
It was a 9-3 in the leadoff spot for Williams with the break of the arm. I've got to do the math to get me to an 18.925 to give you summies. 9.625. Crack calculator producer Eric Perrin helping us out there. Marissa Nychek will compete all around today. And you can see in her face, like she wears the stress of a gymnastics meet just so hard on herself, and the thing she has focused on is just going out there and relaxing and enjoying the moment.
And I think that's something that you learn over time. She still has some years under her belt with Ball State, and it's like learning any other skill. Being more confident in yourself, knowing that you have this, you can get it done as she does.
One of the nicest Jaegers in the NCAA is what Derek Galvin calls that for Grace Donahue.
Her power on bars is not something that you see very often. I'm very impressed with their technique when it comes to hitting handstands, the way that they swing, getting momentum into some of these big skills. This looks like it's about to be a big dismount. Little chest down that caused a step, but as you can see, it was a great routine due to her technique and her tightness.
That's what her coach wanted to see, was a little more tightness on the dismount. That's where the deductions are coming right now for Donahue. Not a lot of deductions for Stephanie Schweikert, 9.85. That's what she's good for consistently here. Little under-rotated.
A little bit. Her amplitude off the table may not have been exactly what she's used to getting, but being able to make sure that that doesn't cause her to fall backwards down to her bottom.
Yurchenko layout half for Stephanie Schweikert, who we will also see on 3 events. It's a phenomenal sophomore class for Ball State between Elsadik, who we've already seen, Nychik, Schweikert. You know, today is senior day. There are 3 Ball State seniors, but the youth of this roster, Olivia Ostendorf is a freshman. To set a school record twice in 3 weeks with this group.
I think there's a lot of confidence between Ball State this year, and it's good to see.
All right, here's Elizabeth Colton, super freshman out of Durham, all-arounder for UNC.
They are so strategic with every skill, every cast. Look at that toe point. Her legs are glued together throughout the whole routine. And to do a release inside of the bar is actually more difficult than outside, as we've seen a lot of girls do, and then she follows up with a full twisting double back. I think that it's a potentially very high scoring routine because of the technique, which all of they have, and the skills that they have put in that routine.
9.8 for Schweikert, even though she was a little under-rotated. Brings up Bree Slonim now. Good first rotation for the Cardinals. Slonim on senior day.
Wow, way to go. Those feet did not move. Her shapes on the board were great. Her amplitude was great. The landing was great as well.
If you're ever gonna stick it, do it the last time at home.
Absolutely. And show off afterwards, as she does.
That'll conclude the rotation for Ball State on vault. So once we get Sloanim's score, I would presume that number will go up. Sloanim's score will 100% count in that anchor spot. 6 up, 5 count. Sophie Silverstein's likely will count for UNC. They'll try to drop the Williams 9-3. She's a freshman. Her top 2 scores the last 2 weeks.
She really fought for that. She caught a little low, but staying tight and getting to that bail, leading into the remaining of her routine. Looks like another big dismount.
It's another double layout.
With a beautiful stick. I don't know what they could take from that double layout. That's a great way to finish the routine, and her team is just as happy.
It's one of 4 E-level dismounts that UNC has on bars, and you can see Derek Galvin almost willing that into existence as he spotted her. Maddie McDonald is a senior for Ball State. This is an exhibition routine following the 9.875 for Slonim.
I could see there how going into the table, she didn't have as much momentum as what I've seen from her in the past. Not being able to really block off the table is what kind of led to that landing.
We'll see Maddie McDonald a couple more times, though, throughout the course of the afternoon. She will have some counted scores here in her final meet inside Worthen Arena. Ball State puts up a 4.9, though, on vault. Not the best it could do. It has had school records before, but it'll take a 4.905 as a good starting point. Tina Gashguy now will do an exhibition bar routine. Freshman for North Carolina. Gashguy, by the way, spelled G-H-A-S-H-G-H-A-E-I. It is Iranian. Her father is from Iran. Her mother is from Denmark. She speaks Danish. Her favorite class at UNC is Persian. She is fully immersed in her culture.
That is very impressive. I love to see freshmen in these positions because it gives them the opportunity to kind of get the shakes out, kind of experience good and bad. If a fall happens, it happens. There's a little less pressure because you know the score isn't counting, but you're still gaining from competing in a meet and having that meet feel, having the judges there, having your teammates there. There's a lot to gain from that experience. And
it looks like she's going to attempt the release move again because they brought in an extra pad just in the event that she misses the recatch on the second time through.
And And by trying again, you still get the points for the deduction, but once you catch it and you make it, not only does it get you some of those points back, but it gets you back into the momentum of that routine and in the right mindset.
That gets you the confidence.
Yeah, that as well.
Just the dismount. And she came down awkwardly on that right leg. And hopefully Gashgai will be okay after that. It's a 4.865 for North Carolina, a 4.905 for Ball State. So the Cardinals comfortably in front after one rotation. We will switch ends. Ball State to bars, North Carolina to the vault when we return next. It's a 4.905 on vault in the first rotation for Ball State. Not a season high. They'd have to set a school record to do that, but you will take a 4.905 to start. And the lead for Ball State over North Carolina as we take a look back at that first rotation. Marissa Nychek, this is a 10-0 start value, and she crushed it.
Small steps, not a big deal when you have a team backing behind you. Same with UNC. Not everything goes perfectly, but when you work together as a team, all the points count together.
Colton and Silverstein had the best rotations on bars to start things off for UNC. Tar Heels will now switch over to vault, where we'll see Colton again. She'll be in the leadoff spot. Ball State will switch over to bars, which is the expertise of Cardinals assistant coach Scott Wilson, who's got an interesting heartstring tug today because obviously the paycheck comes from Ball State. These are the young ladies that he coaches. He wants them to have success. But Scott's career began at North Carolina, and Derek Galvin is actually one of his greatest mentors, not just as a coach, but in life. And if you don't know anything about Scott Wilson, all you need to know is the picture on the left. That is how much this man cares about gymnastics. Competed as a child, got out of the sport around 14 or 15, went back to the gym though and just kind of did it recreationally, then coached rec classes. His club coach, Scott is from North Carolina, put Scott in touch with Derek Galvin. That led to him becoming a manager at UNC, and you know, Coach Galvin was saying he can remember teaching Scott how to spot double backs and the excitement he had when he figured it out, just doing exactly what you're watching here as an undergraduate. And he's blossomed into someone that they really love in Muncie.
It's got to be a good feeling to kind of see where you started and where you are now kind of happening all at once. But he's very invested, and I didn't get to work with him, but just knowing his personality and how much he cares about his gymnasts is a lot of fun to see.
Ball State scores on vault, dropped the 9-7 of either Ostendorf or El Sadek. Host of 9-8 pluses elsewhere through. North Carolina, through its bars, got that early 9-3 from Michaela Williams. Was able to drop that, though, and then closed well, and that's all you want from those anchor spots. Colton comes in, does what she does. Silverstein follows with the 9-8 as well. Although having to come from behind after one rotation. However, we have seen it before. Last time Ball State competed here, it trailed the entire meet against Kent State. Beam became the great equalizer. The Golden Flashes fell 3 times. Ball State crushed 4, and the Cardinals got the head-to-head win.
And that's where that importance of just staying with your head in the zone the entire meet, no matter what has happened before you're going or what's happening currently. Every event counts, every skill counts, every gymnast counts.
Marissa Nychek will lead off on bars as one of Ball State's better gymnasts. Tried her out at the back of the order, didn't like it very much. Didn't want the pressure there. She is much happier in the leadoff spot.
Just knowing kind of how she wears her emotions on her face sometimes. She could be one of those gymnasts that she just wants a clean slate. She wants to start with everything in her head the way that she needs it to be, with no other distractions, in order to set the right tone for her team.
Here is Elizabeth Colton in the leadoff spot, the freshman for North Carolina. We showed you Scott Wilson, by the way, told you he coached in North Carolina, was Elizabeth's Tiny Tots gymnastics coach.
Tiny back then, but not now, with a very Good vault, clean lines, barely moved her feet at all. A good vault to start this rotation for UNC.
And now back over to bars where we get a look at Marissa Nychik.
You call that a toe shoot, and she does 2 into that release move and then connects another release move to bail into it. Very good rhythm here. Tight handstands, getting into this beautiful dismount. Full twisting double back with a stick. Oh my goodness. If that, I don't know how else to start a bar rotation.
That's an incredible routine, and what's amazing about the dismount for Nychik, she told us she has no idea what's happening. Does not know what direction she's turning, just trusts her muscle memory.
That is why we practice as much as we do. Your body knows what it's doing even when your mind feels like it doesn't, and that showed up today for sure.
Just gonna let go and let gravity do its thing. First time we get a look at Alexis Allen competing here. 9.8 plus over each of the last 3 meets.
A lot of power in that entry with a great landing. Half turn vaults can be difficult because it happens so quickly, and you have to be able to spot in front of you to know where you are to land. So to do it the way that she just did looks good to me.
Such a constant over the last 4 years for Derek Galvin. She has vaulted every meet of her career over the last 4 seasons. As we get a look at Stephanie Schweikert on bars. Her release move is new this year. Little Jaeger here that she picked up over the last couple of months. There's nothing little about that.
Not at all. Legs were glued together. That is such a powerful release move that sometimes it can be hard to control whatever's coming out of it. And she did that very well. Double A out to finish, and another stick for Ball State.
And that's new too. Within the last several weeks, upgraded to the double layout because it's cleaner, and it was beautiful.
I love to see the excitement on their face as they land when they just know. Your feet are about 2 inches from the ground. You haven't quite landed yet, but you already know that that's what it needed to be.
Now, Emery Sumi.
Stick after stick after stick, it looks like. Another Yurchenko full, landed with her chest up. A lot of power, but controlled on the landing. Look at that run. You can see all the power that she has going into it. Legs were a little apart, coming into the table and coming off, but she got it around.
Yeah, nothing huge here. There's not a 10-0 start value on vault for North Carolina. They do not have a triple flight series on beat. Nothing major and flashy, but do what you do and do it well. There's a 9.8 that pops up from Nychik's routine. Still await Schweikert's score as Arden Hudson steps up. She is a taller gymnast. Saw her really twist beautifully on vault, but this is the apparatus where her height plays.
Absolutely. The way that she maneuvers her body with those lines to almost just show them off. Handstand, tight, legs squeezed together. She goes into her kick pass handstand, another almost perfect handstand. Double back dismount, small step backwards, but a clean routine to keep the momentum going.
Bars has been a strugglesome event for Ball State this year. It's been its lowest 5 of the 9 times that the Cardinals have competed. Not today. Not yet.
Not yet. So this is a vault I've been very excited to see.
This is this is Drew Aldridge. A 9.825 is her season high. Has played with a 1.5 and has been nursing that ankle, and I think she came down on it a little funky there.
Yeah, it looked as if her amplitude wasn't as high, and so in trying to get that stick when landing with your chest down a little bit and a little bit low can lead to some jarring in a landing, and that is sensitive for someone who may be already struggling with that.
North Carolina's taken a couple of wounds today. Hopefully Gashgai is okay after falling in the exhibition spot.
She handled that very well. She landed and then said, ouch.
Credit your teammates there for helping you out. Here's Megan Teeter.
Wow.
Massive release move. Huge bonus, 6/10 on that connection.
That height above the bar is what judges love to see, and that was undeniable in this routine. Front double tuck, dismount, small step, but Ball State is on fire on bars right now.
And that's a routine that Teeter learned in college. She didn't come from club with that. So as a freshman, putting that on display here and really hitting outside the step at the end. Now Michaela Robinson, Yurchenko full, a first-team all-conference performer.
The power behind her vault, with most people, it may come in the run. They build up their speed into the run, going onto the table. But what I saw in her vault was she had a very paced and steady run, and she gets all of her power from the Yurchenko itself. Going into the round off, blocking off the table is where her power was showing up.
Now Grace Evans. She has been misconsistent. The only one batting 1,000 for Ball State this year. She has hit every of her bar routines. And she's coming off career highs in 2 of the last 3 meets.
Good release move, small separation. As you can see, hers is more piked than straddled. I think that could have to do with her size. It's easier to do when you're a little more petite. She lost a little momentum, but the way that she got that around, I'm proud of.
A little bend on the handstand, and what will be interesting to see is the deduction, because we had an angle on that the judges may not as the legs broke toward them. But she kept it alive.
She kept it alive for sure. I think she adjusted with a small pike as she came down into that dismount and just whipped around the double back to get to her feet.
Here is the show now. Kaja Hislop, the #1 rated Yurchenko full in the country.
A lot of power. Her height, insane.
That's why.
That is undeniable. She has speed, she has amplitude, and then she has the cleanest controlled landing I think I've seen this year. Undeniable.
10th rated vault overall across the country. She's played with a double, and clearly she's given herself the time in the air to do it.
So this is easy for her.
Just becomes, as we said earlier in the rotation, about consistency. That is so clean. Why mess with something that's great?
Very good. Especially if regionals is the goal, if competing on a higher level is the goal, you want to be as solid and as clean throughout the year to get there.
And you only start out of a 995, but go get the 995.
Exactly.
Here's Maddie McDonald after Grace Evans put up the 975.
Really good momentum here. Small leg bend to get that around. And with that speed, she caught a little funny on the bail. She's still moving. Another big dismount from Ball State. Double lay way above the bar with a good stick. Ball State has a lot of excitement going on right now, and I can see why.
The lines here for Maddie McDonald, just look at the extension that she gets that makes that double layout look so beautiful.
I'm at a loss for words a little bit. This was an exciting second rotation for both teams.
That's an incredible rotation for Ball State that right now still has the Cardinals in the lead, but it has shrunk just a 2/10 advantage after North Carolina came in strong on vault. We do have an exhibition routine on the docket, and we will get it here for the Cardinals. Sandra El-Sadek, who we will see in the floor lineup. We did see her vault already today. 9-7 on vault for El-Sadek. Has exhibitioned a couple of times on bars this year. Did compete it a lot last year. In fact, was an all-arounder at the start of the season a year ago.
Beautiful handstand. Toe shoot going directly into her release move. Pack salto. That is a skill that requires a lot of speed yet control. You have to almost be able to stop that speed in the air to continue moving.
9.625 for McDonald. Hislop a 9.925. And El-Sadek, little bent on the landing, but sticks it in her exhibition.
Absolutely. in an exhibition spot, I think that's the type of routine that you would want to do. Not necessarily the cleanest or what you would consider your best, but enough to build up that confidence to get there.
9.925, Kaja Hislop. You like it?
I loved it.
Third rotation coming up. It's a 2-10 lead for the home team on senior day. Ball State set a school record last time out, a 1.958. It's on pace to do that again. Just have to stay on the beam as we take a look at the beam anchor, Taylor Waldo.
Yeah, I'm really the only gymnast that likes that, but I just think that like pushing myself to stay on a 4-inch beam is fun, and I don't know, beams never really scared me, which I think it scared a lot of people. So I just think like the thrill of it's like fun. The only thing that really goes through my head is don't fall. I know that I know how to do my skills. My teammates trust each other. They trust me. So it's really just I don't want to fall. I don't want to let my team down. I think my floor skills and my beam skills and my vault really like make people notice that, oh, like she doesn't do back. Like that's kind of cool, and I like that. Well, it's required that you do both. But like I have bonus to make up for it. So there's like maybe one girl on every team that does only front, but it's pretty rare. I was back tumbling and a girl ran behind me from my gym, and I saw her when I was doing a back handspring coming down. And so I stopped and I jumped to my elbow and dislocated and broke my elbow. And ever since that, I just don't do it.
Well, if there was ever a reason to only do front tumbling, that would be the reason, and it's good enough that Taylor Waldo, as a freshman, is the anchor spot for a Division I team here in Muncie. Really good earning an anchor spot if you're Kaja Hislop. You want to take a look back at the vault that she put together, because 9.95 is the start value, 9.925 is what she was awarded. You didn't see deductions live. Let's take another look at it.
I'm just very curious to see where they're taking these points. And it might just be that leg separation coming from the board onto the table. It is small, but if the judge wants to be picky, they can still take it.
Is there anything wrong with that necessarily as well? At this point in the season, at that level, to say, we're going to hold you to that high standard where, all right, maybe we could give you that perfect 9.95, so to speak, but let's be nitpicky. This is a high level, it's late in the season, everything really counts.
Yeah, it's just going to depend, and your responsibility is not to give them the room for that.
Right. Hislop, we will see 2 more times, still on beam and floor. All-American on floor, All-American on vault. It'll be floor exercise next up for UNC. Jamie Antonori, the former walk-on, leads off as a senior. A couple of freshmen in the middle. Elizabeth Colton is going all around today. Ball State goes over to beam, which the Cardinals have been hit or miss on this year. 47th ranked in the country on that apparatus. I mean, they're 52nd. It's their worst event on bars, and they just crushed that. So maybe the tone has been set.
So I'm really hoping to see them just kind of mellow out and be confident on this event after how on fire they were on bars.
Nothing unusual here. This is a pretty standard routine, but Marissa Nychek just does it really well.
As she said, she knows how to do her skills, so that's all she has to do today. Looking good so far.
Nychek gets angry when she messes up, not just because it's a mistake, but she has been a level 10 gymnast for a long time, since she was 12. So she said, I've been doing this forever. I shouldn't make mistakes. It bothers her.
That's completely understandable. Sometimes little things happen, just like that, but you just stay in control and keep that mindset of you know what you're doing, and you'll finish strong. Small step on the landing, little deduction on the wobble that she had in her jump series, but a solid routine and a good start.
9.7 is the high this year for Nychek on beam. It's the lowest of her 4 events, and that should be in that ballpark as well. But it sets the table now as you hopefully try to build through the rest of your lineup, and maybe that becomes your droppable score. 9.825 in the leadoff spot. That is the high for Jamie Antonori this year. That was last week against GW. First of 3 passes for Antonori.
So she does a front tuck step out into a round off double back. Little bit of control on the end, but keeps moving. I like how she is able to be graceful and be fun at the same time, and it kind of plays with how her music is going back and forth.
A little bit more of a unique first pass too, slower developing than you would normally see. Have a leap series required that you touch all 4 corners-ish of the floor as well.
And with those jump passes, judges like to see different shapes, so they don't want to see you doing all straddles or all splits. So she was able to show a split and a what we call wolf jump. The chest was down a little bit on that double pike. Looks like it might have been a little slow, but all you need is a solid routine to start off the rotation.
And Jamie Antonori's work is done for today. Derek Galvin called her one of the best students at UNC, bar none, across all of the athletic teams. She's going to be a doctor once it's all said and done. Lauren Volpe, as Antonori is a floor specialist, Volpe is a beam specialist for the Cardinals. 9.825 is her high this season. Kind of an up and down. Coming off a 9.7, but a 9.1 the week before that.
And those are pretty big gaps. I'm assuming there was a fall there, but to keep your confidence, especially when you know, unfortunately we have another fall there, but when you know that that's the event that you're here for, sometimes it can take a toll on you and sometimes it can motivate you.
When you go in the 3rd rotation as well, it's a lot of time to think about the one thing you're here to do, and that you can do like that so well. You talk to the Cardinals gymnasts, they will say there are designated people on the team they go to talk to just to keep their minds calm while they wait. Arden Hudson is a big one.
A lot of times it just has to do with the personal relationships, and some teammates know exactly what to say for specific people, and you find your person, and that's what being a teammate is.
Antonori with a 9.725 to lead off on floor for UNC. Just the dismount here for Volpe.
She does an aerial into a full twist. Good landing, and if anything else happened in that routine, that was the best way to finish it off.
Again, 6 up, 5 count. So that, with the fall, hopefully becomes the droppable score. Lily Dean now on floor. She's a specialist here, coming off her season high like Antonori last week against GW. And you'll see her right foot has some extra bandaging on and around the big toe. That goes back to club gymnastics. So they splint it as she competes. They do have a nickname. They did not tell us what it was.
Solid landing on a double pike. A lot of fun in this music and in this routine.
The strength is in her power. She comes from Brescian Gymnastics in Massachusetts. Her coach Derek Galvin says she has Brescian legs.
And they're beautiful. A lot of power, but still able to be tight and to show off those skills. She did a switch side straddle with a full, and her legs were beautiful. Front tumbling pass with twisting can sometimes be very difficult, just depending on your speed and which direction you're going, and then to get another flip out of it just adds to that. Having that as the second pass helps out a lot to get it done. And she finishes off with a double back, controlled one step, and happy teammates.
The thing you noted during warm-ups was just how precise and how big everything was. And when you put those two things together, it's a tremendous combination on floor. That's why UNC is so good on vault and floor, the power events, those two things combined.
And not just one or two gymnasts being powerful and solid, but it's almost all of them.
Usually you have the power gymnast, or one or two.
The power or the grace, but to have both is the sweet spot. And then if you have multiple people who have both, then you're just winning as a team, in my opinion.
So after the early balance check by Nychek and then the fall for Volpe, the pressure is on for Bree Slonim, who's performing on senior night after absolutely crushing her vault, a 9.875. She did that on beam. It would be a season high for her.
It's such an interesting feeling competing on senior night. You know what it is. You know that it's coming. Technically, it's no different than any other meet. But there's just a lot of emotions behind it. So to be able to control and be this great in a situation like that, triple flight, great landing, a lot of confidence in her skills. What more could you ask for in your last time on the beam?
And she attacked the heck out of it. You get deductions if you pause too long. It's about a 2-second break, but she walked to the end of the beam and went. And
kept moving. Looked like on her full turn there, she actually overturned a little bit, but instead of letting that good landing, instead of letting that show up, she did a pose out of it, kept moving. So any small things that were in that routine, she kept moving so flawlessly just to get it done with a great routine. And as you can see, there is some emotion going on the floor down there.
Yeah, that is a senior day hug from everyone for a young lady that's gone through a lot. Bree Slonim has battled through several foot injuries just to get back and compete this year. It's been remarkable to see the way she's done it. Hannah Nam now, the freshman out of nearby Westchester, Ohio. She's competed 8 times on floor, 5 times has gone 9.8 or better.
She opens up with a front 1.5 with no front handspring going into it, no front tuck going into it. A lot of power is required to get all of those twists into that one pass. A lot of personality and fun in these dance moves as well.
You talked about the leaps and jump series and how judges want to see a little bit more, a little bit different. You have to switch up. One of the big things for Hannah Nam here has been working on the details involved in all of that as well, getting more amplitude as the season has gone on so that it's not just a throwaway part of the routine, so to speak, and it's a complement to these tumbling passes.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's easy to forget that the dance moves that they're doing, as well as the jumps and the leaps, are part of the score. So the landings on those matter, the shapes matter, and your technique matter as well.
So Hannah Nam has her routine in the books, following a 9.75 and a 9.725 for Antonori and Lily Dean. As Ball State heads back to beam with Rachel Benoit, who is competing on her senior day like Bree Slonim as well.
Another triple flight from Ball State.
With the one-arm back handspring.
Good control out of that. She had a lot of power that might have been coming from the side a little bit, but she was able to stay solid.
She got 4/10 of bonus on that aerial series.
And some of it comes here with the switch leap being connected to the split jump. And then her dismount is one monster of a dismount. This definitely gets her some bonus points.
This is an E-level dismount that she stuck on senior day.
I loved the emotion on her face. She's normally a little more quiet and a little more reserved in her emotions, but I saw the smile when she landed that dismount. A lot of height, gets those feet together, and smiles with her team.
Painfully shy is the way her coach, Joanna Salim, described Rachel Benoit's personality. But it came out, and I thought Arden Hudson was going to cry in the background as she watched her teammates rally there. As we get a look now at Elizabeth Colton on floor. This is all about power and controlling her landings. That's where the deductions have come. 9.85 is her high this year. She's already had a good day with a 9.8 on bars. Her 9.675 on vault was dropped.
opening up with a double tug. A lot of amplitude on that. You talked about her power. When you look at her, you almost would see that because she's so petite, you wouldn't expect that amount of power, but then it shows up in her routine.
You know, it's funny, when she was vaulting, her head coach Derek Alvin said, because she's so small, just what you said, it's difficult to get that power, and you don't often see small gymnasts in that spot. And then he checked himself and said, well, Simone Biles. Tanisha Christian.
Going into her second pass. A front layout into a front full. A lot of times you'll see that reversed. You'll see gymnasts do the front full into the front layout. It's just a different type of body awareness and maneuvering to switch those skills.
Final pass right after that second.
That was a front layout into a front 1.5. A lot of twisting coming from UNC, but the power behind the twist, I think, is what's definitely setting the bar.
So this will be a counted routine for sure. After, again, we mentioned her vault score got dropped. You saw a 9.8 pop up for Rachel Benoit. As we get a look at Arden Hudson. She's a 3-eventer for the Cardinals. We will not see her on floor. Side aerial back handspring. It's a unique flight series that Hudson has.
A little arm bend, but she fought for that landing, and I believe that it was still connected.
That's the one spot that can be the hiccup, because sometimes she'll get so excited she hits it that the immediate aftermath is where you get hurt.
Absolutely. And I think there might have been a little bit of adrenaline rush there from saving that, because her tuck full jump was a little low. She didn't quite get her knees up as high as we would like, but she still stayed on the beam. And with a stick to finish off the routine as well. I think we are on track for exactly what Ball State needed on beam today.
The Cardinals were on pace to set a school record coming into its third rotation, and it has not let down at all. Ball State's best score on beam this year is only a 4.8775. That was last week at Northern Illinois. That is in deep danger.
So this floor routine, I was watching her warm up, and there is one particular pass that kind of made me drop my jaw. So I'm excited to see that.
This is Michaela Robinson, who has put up a 9.9 twice this year. Ton of power. Her coach Derek Alvin says it comes from genes. Her sister competed at Cal as well.
So that is called a whip back, which is similar to a back handspring, except you don't touch the ground. You can't be as high as the layout, but she does that into a double back, which definitely speaks to that power, and then also being able to control it.
Michaela's an NCAA regional competitor. First team all-conference performance in the Eastern Atlantic.
Second pass, front, full twisting front layout into a pipe, which is a very good, kind of simple middle pass to have, especially when you have a powerful first pass like she did. And as you can see, those straddle jumps were almost as high as her tumbling.
And her required take to the floor there. And as we've said with each routine, doing it in as unique and creative way as possible to set up her third and final pass. Huge height.
Double pike. She landed a little short with her chest down, but she definitely made up for that throughout the routine before that pass. So that's that whip back where she doesn't touch her hands and then she goes immediately into a double back out of it.
Your jaw dropped the way you thought it would?
Yeah. When I saw it in warm-up, I was not expecting that at all.
Taylor Waldo is a freshman in the anchor spot for the Cardinals here. A 9.8 is her season best. And as you heard her talk about before the rotation, only does front skills. Back from a dislocated elbow, trying to do a back skill when she was young.
And on beam, that can be hard because when you're moving forward in a skill, you have to actually down at the beam while you're upside down, and then find the end of the beam once you're right side up.
And you're required to do back skills, so you have to compensate somewhere with your bonus. But if you can do it this clean, Joanna Salim will give Taylor Waldo that green light. Just the dismount.
It looked like she did a tuck full. The landing was solid. There's so much power there that it looks almost if she's doing that as a backup dismount.
Before that score for Taylor Waldo is factored in, Ball State had a 4.82 on balance beam, and that is counting a fall. So that Waldo score will most certainly count, and we'll see how close Ball State is to a season best. As we head to Kaja Hislop on floor, the two-time All-American, the first to do so on this apparatus since Courtney Bumpers back in 2005.
Opening up with a front layout to a front 1.5 that was flawless.
Kaja has a little Beyonce coming into her music at the top and at the back. It's from the summer. All she did was watch Homecoming. So it got stuck in her head.
And when you see yourself as a queen on this event, then it's fitting.
9.95 is her season best. She's already put forward a 9.925 on vault today. Today she gave it a 9.5.
Those jumps, her ability to have such a almost perfect split in the air with that power goes to show that she's one of those gymnasts who has the power and the flexibility with grace. Going into her next pass. It's a double tuck, and that is extremely easy for her. The height that she had into that being her last pass after doing a full routine goes to show that that might also be another situation where UNC is using passes that they know will be performed well, not necessarily that's the most difficult for the gymnast.
And that's the thing that Derek Galvin emphasized as well. Make sure you're doing it clean and just saves staying in bounds there. As we get an exhibition look at the freshman from Canada, Megan Phillips. She is from Quebec. Yes, she does speak French. The final score is a 4.88 on beam for Ball State. That is a season high, and it means that Ball State, with one rotation to go, is on pace to set a school record for the third time in 4 meets.
Incredible, and it's a good position to be in when your last event is one of the team's strongest.
3.98 to end. Okay. Phillips has been battling an ankle issue this year. So just to get out there and compete as a freshman so that you know you can do it.
And with skills that aren't quite easy, she does a side semi, which has a blind landing. It's a lot about body awareness and knowing where that beam is when you start and finding it at the finish without necessarily being able to see.
So a 1.467 right now for Ball State. It leads by a full 10th, and it's en route to a school record again today.
Being MAC champion would be kind of sick. I mean, that'd be kind of dope. I think about it all the time, and I don't ever want to say oh, this is the weekend that I'll get a 10-0 because I don't want to jinx it. Part of the reason why floor can be so fun and I can express my personality and stuff like that on floor is because that's how I am outside of the gym. I typically come up with the weird, quirky stuff just because I can never do a normal dance, ever. I can never do a normal routine. It has to be kind of modern in some sense, and that's what makes me happy, and that makes me have a good time. Oh, I was 3 when I started doing gymnastics. My sister was in gymnastics, and I wanted to be my sister when I grew up. Like, that was my lifelong goal. Every time she would come home for practice saying like, oh, I did an overshoot at practice today, I would go to my coach and say, I need to learn an overshoot. And my coach would say, Claudia, you're in level 4. You can't do an overshoot. You don't even know how to jump to the high bar. My mom's from Spain and my dad's from Dominican Republic, and I'm from Georgia. So I have dual citizenship. Dominican Republic has a national team as well as Spain, but Dominican Republic was closer. And I went down there for like a tryout and I made the team. Shortly after, I competed in Canada for the pre-Pan Ams, and then later that year in November, I competed in Mexico. Compared to this, it's incredibly different. Very intense. He loved it. He loved it so much. Even now, like, he still wears the merch that we got for Dominican Republic team, which is so cute, but he loved it. And when we have a leotard on and it has like the flag patch or it says Team DR on the back, he like lost it. He was like, that is so cool.
Claudia Goico is the showstopper for Ball State on floor. The Cardinals come into the final rotation needing a 4.91 on floor to set a school record for the 3rd time in 4 weeks. It's more than doable, and if she has anything to say about it, last time Ball State was home, she needed to go out and put up a big number to win the head-to-head matchup against Kent State. She did it, and she's coming off a 9.925. That was a season high last week. Goico is the only junior on the floor lineup. Sandra Elsadik in the leadoff spot. We'll see Marissa Nychek, the all-arounder, in the penultimate position.
Just knowing she's a junior.
Right.
Like, the best is still yet to come for her, and I can't wait.
Kaja Hislop is a senior. She'll be in the 4th spot for North Carolina. Now, the Tar Heels come in, haven't been a great road team this year in the way that the RQS scores work. It's your regional qualifying score. It's what gets you to an NCAA regional. You take your top 6 scores. 3 have to be on the road. You drop the highest, and then you average them together. So you need good road scores. North Carolina right now is counting a 1.946. So to best that and drop that score, UNC will need a 48.4 at least here on floor, and they should be able to do more than that. So today will be a very good countable score that hopefully can vault UNC from 38th nationally to 36th nationally, and that would put them in regional position. A lot of math there.
Just let you do your thing.
Break out your graphing calculators. Ball State has a little bit more of an uphill climb. 44th in the country right now coming in, and again, the top 36 go to the NCAAs. But there's still a couple of meets left, and they're road meets for Ball State, so they'll count today, and then hopefully, for their sake, count a couple more scores as well. Emery Summy to lead off on the beam. Her dismount in this routine is new. She has a round off 1.5, so keep an eye out for that on the back end.
So that handspring layout, step out.
Good save.
She fought, definitely fought hard for that skill to stay on the beam. So she'll get the major deduction for the wobbles, but she did not come off, so she will not get the fall.
It's not as bad as the deadly deduction.
And now it looks that she's going to be a little more controlled, a little more particular with how she's doing her skills. You could see in how she did that full turn. Feet jump to straddle 3/4. It looked as if there could have been a small pause in between that. I think that's going to be dependent on the judge. Same here, little step, but she's definitely making sure that she's trying to get all of those points and limit those small wobbles.
Just that new dismount here for Summy. She got that part of it.
Absolutely, a good way to finish it off and to feel good about starting off the lineup for her team.
9.8 is the season high for Summy. She's had an active day, 9.775 on vault, 9.65 on bars, and Sandra Elsadik now on floor. It's been an interesting journey for the sophomore. She competed the first meet of the year, put forward an 8.95, and then was never to be seen from again until 2 weeks ago when she exhibitioned, crushed it, and then was back in lineup with a 9.825 last week.
Opening with a double pike and a great landing. I saw her before her routine kind of having a conversation. There looked to be a little worry on her face. I don't know if the touch didn't go as well as she would have wanted, but you can't see that on her face now. She has started this routine and is moving through it as if nothing happened. Second pass, front layout to a front full. Once again, looks good to me.
Sandra is such a showman on this apparatus. Clearly enjoys what she's doing, but you also love when she hits her passes, there's this moment of shock as if she's almost surprised herself that it just went that well.
And then she plays it off as if she knew that that's what was happening. Starts in shock and turns into a smile.
It's part of the show. I'm just having a good time.
Taking a breath going into her final pass. To round off back handstring to a double tuck. She lands it with that smile once again. If there was any worry before she started this routine, I think she's forgotten about it.
Really good first routine. And again, that went 9.825 last week. And if that's in your leadoff chair, okay.
We'll take it.
That final pass, and look at the emotion. Alexis Allen now on beam. Off a 9.875. Derek Alvin said she's capable of a 9.9, but hasn't quite gotten there yet this season.
Another back handspring layout, step out. Amazing control on that landing. She did not even breathe when her feet hit the beam. A good switch leap to straddle quarter jump. When you see these leap passes on the beam, judges are looking for the height above the beam as well as the split being as flat as it can be. You want it to be 180 degrees.
You just see the way that the Tar Heels move, particularly on beam. Grit, grace, and gratitude is their saying. And you just kind of see that embodied here.
And actually, I'm not sure how well that was caught on camera, but her heel on the landing of that was completely off the beam, but she was unfazed and landed it as if nothing happened into that beautiful dismount.
Yeah, that's the grit.
For sure.
And then the grace to play it off. And a couple of hits in the first two spots on beam for UNC. And now Rachel Benoit on floor, who put up a 9.8 on beam. Her final routine inside Worthen Arena, the senior on senior day.
It's my favorite timid powerhouse.
She's about to jump out the roof. And Worthen Arena has a tall one.
She opens up with a round off back handspring double pike. Perfect landing if I have any say about it.
You know, people say senior day is just another meet or just another game or just another competition. I dare you to say that to these gymnasts right now because
Only
the three seniors have been awesome.
I think it's just another meet to everyone in the audience, but for the seniors, it's very emotional. I remember crying and telling myself I was not going to cry. But you just feel the emotion from all of your teammates, from the other seniors, and it definitely takes over.
There is such a quiet confidence to this routine. Beautifully stuck the second pass.
But I can see some of that confidence coming out. I remember when she was recruited in freshman year, watching her do floor and then watching her do now. It's still soft, but there is some confidence coming out there, even if it's little bursts. And something just as simple as a smile at the end of the routine is not something that she even did as a freshman.
Coming out of her shell big time on senior day. Again, look at the height that comes here.
And then the control in that landing.
That is legitimately, she could jump over a bookshelf. Kind of want to take her to IKEA and and see if it would work. Elizabeth Colton, the all-arounder, now on beam. It's interesting. One of her hidden talents, she says, is that she can play the violin with her leg up by her ear. And you go, well, how is that useful? But watch her do her full turn and the height she gets with her legs.
It's another front pass on the beam, spotting the beam upside down, and then finding it at the end.
There
and
was.
to be able to control that full turn. Full turns, I feel like, are the most underrated skill on beam. I've said it before, but it's such a simple thing, but it could go wrong in so many ways. So it's not something that you should take lightly as going into your team.
Colton's coming off back-to-back falls in early February and just been on a steady rise ever since. A 9-9 2 meets ago against New Hampshire. And that'll be another big score.
Absolutely. You can tell just looking at her face and her focus in that routine how calculated and how concentrating, how much she was concentrating in that routine. But still, to be able to pull it off, you can tell that she's happy about it.
Still want to figure out the violin thing.
I'd have to see that.
Stephanie Schweikert will play some air guitar for us in this routine. 9.875 is a season best for Stephanie Schweikert.
Opening up with a ridiculously huge double pipe with a phenomenal landing. Ball State might be going after a new high score. At least that's what it looks like to me.
4.9225 is the best this year on floor. If Ball State were to equal or beat that, it would also beat a single meet all-around school record that was set a week ago. And that one broke a record that was set 2 weeks prior to that.
Beating your own records is the most important thing, so for the team to be doing that for itself is great.
Schweikert just kept that landing in bounds.
A lot of awareness and self-control has to go into that.
Especially with this power.
And being able to know where you are. These landings in this routine have been phenomenal.
And here comes the air guitar and the guitar pick throw. Claudia Goico told her to keep this in the routine when she did it in the gym one day. And it's just a fun way to leave the judges on a good note.
And especially when you have a great routine before that ending.
I mean, look at it again.
Huge. She could probably fit more than a bookshelf.
Armoire. 9.8 from Benoit just ahead of her as Hislop now steps up on beam. She is interesting on this apparatus. Her score splits have been big. She went 9-9 and 9-7-5 between the two judges last week against GW. Where does that sometimes come from?
Just looking at some of the skills that she has, again, I'll try not to overemphasize the grace and power for this gymnast, but there's a lot of odd connections, and by odd, just not as common. So if there's any speculation that there is a pause in between or a small wobble, like between the jump and the leap, then those points could be coming from those connections. She could be losing bonus, or she could just be getting small deductions for the wobbles.
She has such huge skills here on beam.
And it's such a soft routine. That's the only word that I can think of. Like, she's just flowing through this routine, but all the jumps are well above the beam. All of her landings are strong, just like that, but it's still soft at the same time. That was very interesting and entertaining to watch.
It was like it occurred in convection fluid.
Gentle but powerful.
Olivia Ostendorf is fourth up for Ball State after a 9.825 from Stephanie Schweikert. So right now, Ball State's dropping a 9-7-7-5. The Cardinals are going to put up a massive score on the floor if this continues.
Opening with a double pike, another beautiful landing for Ball State. You can tell that the girls on the Ball State team are just so happy and full of energy right now on the sidelines for all of their teammates.
Lauren Volpe mirroring Olivia Ostendorf right in front of her. Got a 3/10 bonus connection on this second pass for Olivia.
Bentley out to 1.5. There's so much energy coming from her.
You always have to go to the floor at one point in the routine. We say it all the time, the way you get up off the floor and the way she kind of peeled up, it's details that captivate a judge and an audience and pull them into what you're doing.
And a lot of times, the girls' favorite part of the routine will be in those little details. So that also helps you to enjoy your routine.
Stuck landing with massive height again.
There's a lot of height. Her knees were a little bit bent on that landing in order to control how high she was coming from the ceiling to the floor. But this was just great. Huge.
Takes us back to the beam. Following Hislop, here is Hannah Nam. She's had a triple flight series, not consistent enough, so just the 2 movements on that aerial.
And I've seen this series from a lot of the girls on the team. It is a series that, when done well, just looks really good.
We mentioned it when UNC was vaulting, no 10-0 starts, no triple flights on beam. It's just about doing the best you can do, the cleanest you can do, and just be great at that.
And the side aerial, in a skill like that, you would have wanted to see her step backwards instead of forward, but she was able to stay controlled. Judges could technically take some points on that.
Just the dismount is left for Hannah Nam.
Round off 1.5 with a great landing. Good job, Hannah.
Just that small little hop. Sometimes they'll call it the college stick.
Because you try to play it off with your salute. You don't do it intentionally, it just happens.
9.85 for Olivia Ostendorf. Ball State is going to blow some records out the water on this floor routine. Here's Nychek, competing all around.
Unfortunately, she did step out of bounds there. She had a lot of power moving forward, but because her chest was down, it did throw her past that line.
And that's a tough one to swallow. Nychek has been so consistent, 9-8 or better in the last 4 weeks.
So when you're in this position, you just want to make sure that you don't give them anything else to take. Good double back. Chest was down a little bit with a pike in the hips. Still got it around. No major steps there. So we'll want to make sure that our last pass is finished strong with a good landing. Front handspring to a front 1.5. Good way to finish off.
And that finishes out Marissa Nychek's 4-event day. And just watch the step forward.
Yeah, her front tuck out of that twisting pass was a little bit low. And typically when they're low, they're going to be longer, which is why she was kind of forced out.
Which takes us to Grace Donahue. Coming off a fall last week. Usually impeccably clean.
Little balance check there. I'm not quite sure about how tight her legs were coming out of that back handspring. That's a switch leap to a tuck 3/4. We'd like to see our knees a little bit higher. Judges like to see them at least at horizontal, but to still get that jump around is good. You will get credit for it. One thing that can be difficult, especially on beam, is when you're trying to make sure that you're getting all the points that you can. When you hold back, sometimes it can throw off the rhythm of your routine and make things smaller than what they should be, which can cause deductions as well. So your best bet is to go as big as you can to get all of the points.
Got a sheep jump in there, taking her eyes off the beam as she came back down to land. It's one of those things where you have to just cut loose as much as, like, let your inhibitions go and stick your dismount.
And not an easy dismount. You're moving forward and flipping back.
Well, yeah, you feel like if you miss, your head's coming down on the end of the beam.
Amplitude is definitely a must. But you do go off to the side a little bit to avoid that. Everyone kind of does it a little different, but that was beautifully done.
Now here is the show. Claudia Goyko for the next 90 seconds. Your 4-time Mid-American Conference Specialist of the Week, coming off a 9.925. This is the best routine in the Mid-American Conference.
Claudia opens up with a very large double tuck, goes straight back into that personality. I love the fact that she did say that she does want that bigger score, but she doesn't go into the meet thinking about it. I think that speaks a lot to her confidence. You know that if you do what you know how to do and you go into the meet like that, then it'll come.
I just like the 2 words she used. To be a MAC champion, to get a 10-0 would be dope, and it would be sick.
She's on her way.
It's the details that will separate her, though. It's controlling those landings just a little bit more because she does want the perfect 10.
She does a great job of staying tight and making sure that her form is beautiful. If she can land like that on every pass, that's going to really make the difference for her.
Check your pulse at home. Claudia Goyko is the early favorite for Mid-American Conference champion on floor.
And that's that emotional senior night feeling where you do a great job. You're coming off of that adrenaline high, and then you also receive love from your teammates.
Her coach, Joanna Salim, says she makes you feel the routine. There is a theatrical nature to what she does. Not to say anything about anybody else that competes on her team or anywhere else, but there is something captivating, that next it factor that just not everybody has. This is Lily Dean.
Lily's opening up with a nice routine. She had kind of a big balance check coming out of her series, but she was able to save it. Her leaps are looking very clean, and I'm sure that's where she's going to get those points back.
It's an exhibition routine. Dean went 9.75 on floor earlier. In the meantime, Claudia Goyko is going nuts.
We can't see the
on
score.
The Ball State side, and they have not turned the score around to where we can see it.
Oh, it's killing me.
It's a 9-9 for Claudia Goyko. So with that added in, as Dean completes her exhibition, it gives Ball State a 4.915. And by half a tenth, it is, for the 3rd time in 4 weeks, a Ball State school record.
If they can just continue this every meet, you don't have to do too much, you don't have to do too little. Just keep on this same track, then I feel like this would be a phenomenal year overall for the team.
Maddie McDonald, a senior on senior day, here to finish things off with an exhibition on floor.
And just to kind of put into perspective what she could possibly be feeling right now, knowing what your team has done, knowing that it's senior night, your team's happy, the scores are going great, and you can just get out there and have fun. There's like no pressure at this point.
You know, it's funny, Marissa Nychik said the way that she takes pressure off is by telling herself the meet's already been won. Well, the meet has already been won. Ball State with the head-to-head victory over UNC. The Tar Heels will count this score. That 195-37 is a really big pickup on the road to add to their RQS. And actually with that, I have to break out a calculator, but quick math in my head, that should vault UNC up from 38th to 36th nationally and get them into NCAA regional position. And then Ball State with a school record. Good day all around.
And I almost want to say that's been a focus for them today, where they're doing the skills that they know they can hit. They're just trying to get that score to keep them on the right track for that. There's awesome energy coming from Ball State today. And honestly, I don't even know if it has to do with the scores. I think that's just what they're feeling from each other and from their performance.
There is one more exhibition spot. Maddie McDonald finishes off her home career with maybe a routine that gets her back into the floor lineup, which she's been in for much of the season. Exhibition last week and this week. Megan Phillips will be the final exhibition. And we saw Phillips compete on beam in exhibition through the last rotation. Again, someone that's dealt with a lower body injury and getting healthy, getting a chance to compete. Whether or not she winds up in lineup by the end of the season, well, that's to be determined. But as a freshman, this is just about getting you on the floor so that if you come back next season, it's not a new experience for you.
Yes, and definitely if you're dealing with an injury, you don't want to be not put in that position and then going through a summer and a training season, not training season, but training before season. It can take a toll on you mentally. So to be able to get out there and do it and to remember that you did while you're training to get back out there for the next year to come, it can do a lot of good.
We missed his dance move. Scott Wilson was rocking out, which is made better by the fact that that's what he's rocking out in. There cannot be any better shoe game in Division I athletics.
No one does it better style-wise.
Megan Phillips to finish things off for today. Just the fact that Ball State has put forward a school record 3 times in 4 weeks.
I don't know that that's ever happened from a year team. Maybe I'm wrong, we'll have to look back, but I can't recall any year where one single team has broken so many records.
There have only been 19 195s scored in Ball State history, and 3 of them have happened this month.
It says a lot about these girls and how we talked about them still technically being young. I'm very excited to see how they progress forward as some of these freshmen and sophomores take the leadership roles as juniors and seniors.
The beam total is also a season high. Everything else was just consistent. Nothing else was a record. It was just really good across the board. And you'd almost rather have that than set an astronomically high vault record and then fall off the beam 7 times.
And a little insight here, beam is kind of Joanna's, where her heart is. So I'm sure that she's excited about that.
Got a good classical feel to Megan Phillips' music here as she concludes her exhibition floor routine and puts a wrap on the meet here in Muncie. A school record for the Cardinals. Claudia Goico, how do you feel about a school record in another 9-9? It's a new school record for the Ball State Cardinals. How about a 195.85? As we welcome you back inside Worthen Arena and high atop the gymnastics floor, Denasia Christian, Joel Gadet, glad to have you along with us. The school record was 198. It is now 198.5. And the 198 bested a 1957, or the, 1958 bested a 195.75. So new school records, incrementally so. But it's a great feeling when you do it 3 times in a month.
And if you're going to do it, I think this is the way to do it. Not too much, not too little, but you're still building.
UNC also in a good spot, though. 3 consecutive 196s, falling short of that mark today, but a 195 on the road. They'll count that in their RQS tabulation going forward. Kaja Hislop, who we featured off the top, really good day for her as well. Big part of why UNC was able to score so big.
Best thing about watching this is just her power and her grace working together. It's the most controlled thing that you could watch while still being impressed by the power.
And then Claudia Goico, it's almost like this is becoming easy. 9-9 again.
Just gonna have to take that next step to give me more, and just be hungry for those scores.
And the 9-9 for Goico. The 9.925 for Hislop on that vault. The best Yurchenko full in the country. She displayed it again. And clearly one of the best gymnasts in the Eagle League and across the nation as well. You take a look at, for Ball State, what was a best beam score of the season, 4.88. 4.89 on floor for North Carolina. 4.9 is where UNC was best. So actually Ball State across all apparatuses sweeps. It takes the win, it takes the head-to-head win. That is its 11th head-to-head win of the season. It's a school record. It counts in the RQS. Ball State is in a really good spot. It drops a 1.942 for a 1.9585. For Denasia Christian, Eric Perrin is our producer and the rest of our crew. My name is Joel Gadet, saying so long on Senior Day. All games streaming on the ESPN app are archived on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. It's a Ball State school record and a production of ESPN.